President Donald Trump's meeting with the NATO Secretary General on March 13, 2025, was marked by a number of statements concerning the European Union and Denmark. Raising the issue of Greenland, the head of state emphasized its importance for ensuring international security, hinting at the need to control its coastal waters. The day before, on March 12, during negotiations with the Prime Minister of Ireland, the President criticized the EU's trade policy, pointing to an imbalance in the acceptance of agricultural products and automobiles. The ongoing dispute between the EU and Apple was also addressed, with the head of state expressing confidence in winning this financial battle. In early 2025, Denmark took a decisive stance regarding Tesla, expressing growing concern about its business practices and the behavior of its CEO, Elon Musk. One notable step was the announcement by the Danish pension fund Akademiker Pension of its intention to exclude Tesla from its investment list. The fund planned to sell all remaining shares of the company and officially add it to the list of exclusions. Akademiker Pension's decision was motivated by a number of factors, including accusations of Tesla's anti-union activities and Elon Musk's controversial behavior. The fund drew attention to Tesla's long history of opposing the creation of trade unions in its enterprises, as well as shortcomings in corporate governance, in particular the composition of the board of directors, which consists mainly of Musk's friends and relatives. In addition, the destabilizing public statements and actions of the company's head were noted. The CEO of Akademiker Pension, Jens Munch-Holst, emphasized in his statement that Musk's recent interference in political issues and his support for controversial figures are damaging the Tesla brand and value. Holst noted that in the absence of prospects for improvement, the fund came to the conclusion that further investment in Tesla could not be justified. A wave of indignation at Tesla's actions in the Scandinavian region is widening, capturing more and more major players in the Danish investment market. Following one of the funds, another giant, Pension Denmark, which had a portfolio estimated at 400 million Danish kroner, announced its rejection of Elon Musk's assets. The reason for this radical step was the acute conflict over the labor rights of Tesla workers in Sweden. The stumbling block was Tesla management's categorical refusal to sign a collective bargaining agreement with Swedish employees. In response, a wave of strikes swept through the company's service centers, quickly spreading to other countries in Northern Europe. By the end of 2023, the Swedish division of Tesla was practically paralyzed. Trade unions blocked the delivery of correspondence, refused to service charging stations, and even issue license plates for cars. In solidarity with the striking Swedes, trade union organizations in Denmark and Norway threatened to block the supply of Tesla cars to their countries. Tesla's unwillingness to compromise and sign trade union agreements anywhere forced Pension Denmark to add the company to its blacklist in December 2023. Danish trade union leaders, including a member of the Pension Denmark board of directors, supported this decision, pointing to serious risks to Tesla's business in the event of further expansion of the labor conflict. In Denmark, a wave of concern is growing about Tesla's activities, whose business methods are increasingly perceived as contrary to the interests of workers. In parallel, Elon Musk's polarizing behavior is only adding fuel to the fire. These factors appear to be negatively impacting Tesla's position in Europe. The once popular brand is beginning to lose its appeal among European consumers who are disappointed by a series of scandals and controversies. Evidence of this is the decline in sales. According to data from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association in January 2025, Tesla sales in Europe fell by 45% compared to the same period last year. At the same time, Tesla's competitors are showing steady growth, increasing their sales by more than 37% over the same period. Preliminary data for February indicate a continuation of this negative trend, which portends serious challenges for Tesla in the European market. Overall, in 2024, Tesla sales in Europe decreased by 10.8%, which is significantly higher than the overall market decline of just 1.3%. This decline has undermined Tesla's leading position in the electric vehicle market in a number of key countries where the company previously dominated. While company fleets are being replenished with new electric vehicles, analysts are noting stagnation or even a reduction in Tesla's presence. Dozens of models from European and Chinese manufacturers are flooding the market, and Tesla's once advanced lineup is beginning to look outdated. Experts believe the company needs fresh solutions to regain lost ground. However, beyond the technological aspect, Tesla has suffered a significant blow to its reputation. A survey by electrifying.com revealed that 59% of British electric vehicle owners or potential buyers are abandoning the idea of purchasing a Tesla due to Elon Musk's persona. The eco-friendly status symbol that Tesla once was has, for many, turned into an object of ridicule or even anger on social media. Disgruntled customers and critics are actively using hashtags such as Tesla Takedown and Swastika Cars, expressing their outrage over Musk's connections to controversial political movements. Public opinion seems to be increasingly influencing consumer choices, and Tesla faces a serious challenge in rebuilding brand trust. Once loyal Tesla fans are increasingly expressing public disappointment with Elon Musk's behavior and statements. In the UK, for example, one of the first electric vehicle owners admitted that, despite his love for Tesla's cutting-edge technology, he decided to sell his car to distance himself from its owner's political views. Similar sentiments are shared by other former enthusiasts across Europe. Where once owning a Tesla evoked admiration and praise, they now say they face mockery and unfriendly gestures from those around them. This stark contrast in public perception, which has transformed a once symbol of innovation into an object of controversy, clearly demonstrates how closely the Tesla brand image is intertwined with Elon Musk's personal reputation. The decline in Musk's popularity among European consumers naturally leads to a deterioration of Tesla's reputation in the market, which cannot help but affect sales volumes and customer loyalty. Thus, one of the key reasons for the difficulties Tesla faces in Europe is the increasingly politicized and controversial image of Elon Musk in the eyes of the public. Recently, Elon Musk seems to have abandoned any semblance of political neutrality, openly providing his platform for statements by representatives of the far-right and populist forces, whose views often run counter to generally accepted European values. An example of this is the active support he provided to the Alternative for Germany (AfD) party in the run-up to the regional elections scheduled for February 2025. Not mincing words, Musk has repeatedly praised the AfD on his social network X, formerly known as Twitter, even going so far as to claim that this party is Germany's only hope. Moreover, he organized a live broadcast interview with AfD leader Alice Weidel, which undoubtedly contributed to raising the authority of this political force. It is noteworthy that the AfD is under close scrutiny by the German special services and is considered an organization suspected of extremist activities. Although Musk's open support did not have a decisive impact on the outcome of the elections, it caused concern among many German citizens and, according to some experts, negatively affected the image of Tesla, alienating some moderately minded customers. However, Germany is not the only country where Musk has taken sides in the political struggle. In the UK, he has not hesitated to publicly criticize the Prime Minister, openly expressing sympathy for the right-wing Reformed UK Party. In Italy, he has established close ties with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, the leader of a nationalist movement between whom there is mutual admiration and common views, especially on issues relating to immigration. In other countries, Musk has also shown support for far-right figures, promoting publications by Romanian ultranationalists and expressing criticism of the Romanian judicial system. Such activity represents an unprecedented level of political involvement for the head of a technology company and is met with sharp rejection in most of the European community. Musk's ideological convictions are also evident in his skepticism towards climate and environmental policies, which creates a clear dissonance with the stated green mission of his company Tesla. After providing financial support for Donald Trump's return to the political arena, Elon Musk began to voice ideas that resonate with those who are skeptical of climate policy. Stating that there's no need to rush to solve the problem of climate change, he expressed the opinion that active measures to combat global warming may be unnecessarily intrusive. Such statements have been met with approval from organizations known for their denial of climate change. For example, the American Heartland Institute, notorious for its attempts to discredit scientific data on climate, welcomed Musk for his seemingly rejection of the climate cult, hinting at his departure from the generally accepted environmental position. In parallel, Musk has taken a critical stance on European environmental standards. He has repeatedly stated that Europe's policies place excessive pressure on innovators, characterizing the EU's regulatory framework as a bureaucratic layer cake and wryly noting that America innovates and Europe regulates. In one instance, after a European official warned about the need to comply with social media content rules, Musk responded by posting a meme expressing his protest, underscoring his confrontational attitude towards European authorities. This rejection of government control, particularly in matters of disinformation, environmental regulations, and safety standards, has led to a significant cooling of relations between Elon Musk and European politicians. From a prospective partner in building a green future for Europe, he has transformed into a figure associated with far-right and anti-regulatory movements. For many European consumers who value environmental friendliness and constitute a significant portion of the electric vehicle market, Musk's behavior damages Tesla's green image. A Danish pension fund noted that discussions about Tesla are impossible without mentioning Elon Musk, whose support for controversial politicians, dissemination of disinformation, and criticism of governments alienate investors and customers. Thus, Musk's political activity is becoming a burden for Tesla in Europe, causing boycotts, investor concerns, and regulatory scrutiny which would have been difficult to imagine just a few years ago. Within European political circles, there is growing concern not only about Elon Musk's influence on internal processes but also about the broader challenges emanating from the United States. The prospect of Donald Trump's return to the world political stage is particularly alarming. Musk's alliance with Trump and other figures on the right of the political spectrum occurs against the backdrop of increasing tension between the U.S. and the European Union on several key issues. One of the most acute points of disagreement has been Trump's renewed interest in Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark. It is worth recalling that in 2019, Trump already provoked a diplomatic scandal by stating the possibility of the United States acquiring Greenland. Now, if he returns to power, he does not rule out using economic or even military pressure to achieve this goal. This position, which views part of the Kingdom of Denmark as a bargaining chip, has caused a wave of outrage among European politicians. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen has firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale, emphasizing that the island is part of our territory, not something that can be bought. In response, leaders of the European Union have demonstrated unity and solidarity with Denmark. In response to President Trump's statements about the possibility of acquiring Greenland, the head of the European Council, Antonio Costa, emphasized that protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of EU member states is a priority for the entire European Union. In a show of solidarity with Denmark, European leaders promised to vigorously defend Greenland's interests, making it clear that they do not intend to succumb to pressure from Washington. Even NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who previously headed the government of the Netherlands, expressed concern about the situation, suggesting strengthening security measures in the Arctic region. This move was seen as a signal of Europe's readiness to resist any U.S. plans regarding this territory. Thus, European politicians have made it clear that any attempts to put pressure on Denmark in connection with the Greenland issue will be met with strong resistance. Against the backdrop of these events, trade and economic relations between the European Union and the United States continue to deteriorate. President Trump has again threatened to impose new tariffs on European goods, which exacerbates concerns about a possible transatlantic trade war. Representatives of the European Union view such threats as a direct attack on Europe's economic stability. At the Brussels summit in February 2025, the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, made a significant statement warning that in the event of unfair or unjustified actions against the European Union, there would be a decisive rebuff to trade aggression from the United States. In unison with her, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who was then the president of the European Council, expressed Europe's shared desire to avoid an escalation of tensions that could escalate into a tariff war. Nevertheless, European leaders did not ignore the potential threat and began developing action plans in case Donald Trump's tariff threats are realized. Their strategy reveals a combination of vigilance and unwavering commitment to the transatlantic alliance. Ms. von der Leyen emphasized that the partnership between the U.S. and the EU remains a cornerstone of international relations, but Europe has no intention of succumbing to pressure. In practical terms, the European Union is exploring various ways to strengthen its defense capabilities and economic independence. These efforts include increasing defense spending as well as developing mechanisms to protect key industries from external pressure, thereby reducing vulnerability to potential actions by the U.S. In the European context, Elon Musk's actions are not going unnoticed by regulatory authorities. Currently, Musk's platform X is under close scrutiny by EU regulators under the new Digital Services Act. This is due to concerns that his proclaimed hands-off approach contributes to the spread of disinformation and extremist content. European authorities recognize Musk's significant influence in the online space and express concern that it could shape public opinion and even influence the political orientation of countries. According to experts in media policy, such concerns may lead to the imposition of sanctions or fines by the EU if Musk's companies violate European rules. All these measures, from the inclusion of Tesla on a blacklist in Denmark to public criticism by European officials of Trump's plans for Greenland, reflect a general trend. Europe is setting boundaries regarding what it considers a threat to its values, workers' rights, and sovereignty. Thus, the difficulties Tesla faces in Europe are not solely the result of miscalculations by the automotive company. These words reflect a deep transatlantic rift, calling into question environmental awareness, political restraint, and basic respect between the parties. European leaders and institutions are sending a clear signal, whether it is an all-powerful corporate head or even the President of the United States. Any actions aimed at undermining European social and environmental norms or infringing on national sovereignty will not go unanswered. This concludes this video report. Thank you for your time and attention. We sincerely appreciate you sharing this moment with us. If you found this information useful or inspiring, we encourage you to show your support with a simple action. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on new publications. This support is invaluable. A recommended video that may also be of interest is now appearing on the screen.